Fans may end up waiting months longer to see Colby Covington compete, as his likely ideal UFC return would be against Leon Edwards should he best Kamaru Usman again, ESPN's Brett Okamoto wrote in a recent column. When Edwards took Usman's 170-pound strap with a stunning head kick knockout at UFC 278 in August, he also opened up the possibility of Covington receiving a title fight. Covington has competed for the undisputed UFC welterweight championship twice against Usman. However, the Nigerian Nightmare came out on top both times. Because of that, Covington's chance of receiving another crack at gold while Usman reigned was minimal. The trilogy between Edwards and Usman is likely next, as both combatants and UFC President Dana White have shown interest in the match. Edwards recently said that he'd like to settle the 1-1 score with the Nigerian Nightmare in the United Kingdom and that it could happen as early as March. Should Rocky defeat Usman again, that'll open up the door for Covington's third title fight, 2 in the division, and he and Edwards have never crossed paths. Further, Chaos is coming off a win over Jorge Masvidal in March at UFC 272. Okamoto theorized that Covington is likely waiting for Edwards vs. Usman III to happen. In Okamoto's ESPN piece, the longtime journalist pointed to Covington waiting on the sidelines until Edwards vs. Usman III plays out. 1. Edwards defends his title against Usman in a trilogy bout in the first quarter of 2023, and Covington slides in as the next title challenger, Okamoto wrote. Covington isn't talking to the media, but one has to assume this would be the ideal scenario for him. He wants to fight for the belt again. He won't get that opportunity if Usman is the champ, because he already has lost to him twice. But if it's Edwards, he could be next. Okamoto also shared a second possibility for Chaos' return: Covington dueling No. 3-ranked welterweight Khamzat Chimaev. Right now, it's up in the air whether Chimaev's next fight will be at welterweight or middleweight, Okamoto wrote. If it's welterweight, there's really only one fight that makes sense for him, and that's Covington. The UFC could try to book Covington vs. Chimaev on the same card as Edwards vs. Usman III to set up the next title challenger. Things are constantly changing in the UFC, but I wouldn't expect Covington to make his next move until there's a little more clarity on a date for the Edwards-Usman trilogy and Chimaev's situation, Okamoto continued. Okamoto said Covington's current legal battle with Masvidal could be keeping him out of the Octagon. A few weeks after their UFC 272 clash, Covington alleged that Masvidal punched him multiple times outside a restaurant in Miami Beach, Florida. Since the two are set to meet in the courtroom, Okamoto said that could be keeping the 34-year-old fighter tied up. He's the alleged victim in a criminal battery case involving his former opponent Jorge Masvidal, Okamoto wrote. Masvidal is accused of attacking Covington on the streets of Miami on March 21, about 2 weeks after Covington dominated him in a 5-round grudge match at UFC 272. Covington has been extremely quiet since the alleged attack, which is not unusual for someone involved in an active case.